everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Abuja. Tonight, we find ourselves grappling with a somber reality that has cast a dark shadow over the heart of our nation, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The recent surge in insecurity, marked by kidnappings, abductions, and alarming rise in crime rates, has left our citizens here in the city living in fear and uncertainty. It is a distressing situation that requires not just our attention, but a collective commitment to finding sustainable solutions. In the face of this unsettling scenario, it is crucial to acknowledge the commendable efforts of our law enforcement agencies, particularly the recent initiatives by the police force. Their tireless dedication to securing our capital deserves recognition, and we stand united in supporting their endeavors. Well, as we query and question how things have degenerated this much, let us also reflect on the underlying factors contributing to this wave of insecurity. To truly address this issue, we must delve into the root causes, fostering a society where education, economic opportunities, and social cohesion become the bedrock of our society. The police has announced the rescue of 5 sisters kidnapped in the Zuma 1 area of Kau in the Buhari Area Council of Abuja on the 2nd of January this year when they were abducted by security operatives. Now said they have rescued them. The rescue, which happened on Saturday, that's yesterday, according to the Nigerian police, came after the death of their sister who was kidnapped with them. The sisters were seized by armed men who burst into their home just 15 miles from Abuja city center. According to the family, attackers killed one sister, 21-year-old Nabiha Al-Qadiria, when a ransom deadline passed. Take a listen to the Nigerian police spokesperson.
They all reside in Buhari, and I want to say possibly many of them have planted themselves in various communities across the Federal Capital Territory. So I want to urge our landlords, landladies, community leaders, estate managers to always take note of those we want to adopt into our various communities. Don't jump at them as a landlord that you have seen tenants. I want us to adopt this method now in the Federal Capital Territory of profiling whoever that wants to rent any facility, any property from us. Always work with the police, work with other security agencies, particularly the DSS. We have certain information about some of these people. If they come around, they want to rent any apartment, any facility from you, please contact us for adequate profiling. It's that time we started doing this in the Federal Capital Territory and by extension in all our communities across the country. The same special interventions called launched by the Inspector General of Police on 29th of December 2023 in Plateau State is active, and that's why we are going after all these elements one after the other.
As a spokesperson of the Nigerian Police Force, Muyiwa Adejobi, yesterday, 2 days ago, the Minister of the Federal Capital, Wike, says arrests have been made of some suspect or persons in connection with feeding bandits with information in the area. The minister says this during a town hall meeting which he had with the Gwagwalada Area Council Chairman, traditional rulers, security operatives, and residents of Gwagwalada Area Council in the area. Though it did not say the number of persons arrested or where the arrest was made, he assured residents of the Gwagwalada area not to panic, as there will be improvement in the security situation in the FCT in the coming days. This is Wike, the Minister of the FCT.
We are very, very serious. We are very, very serious. All those criminals, bandits, enough is enough. We will do everything within our powers to make sure that we will not allow this to happen again. These bandits were just away from the northeast, so they are making their way down. We'll make it hot for them. We have to stop this idea of going to radio to say we are ready to raise money. When you do that, these criminals are happy. concerned. People want to raise money. No. I know it's painful that your wife, your children, your husband is being kidnapped. All we want is to stop it, not to encourage it.
Some Wike FCT minister. Well, let's get some more insight into these issues. I have joining me virtually the senator representing the FCT, Senator Kingibe. Joins us virtually live now. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us. Not perhaps not a good day for a lot of citizens in and residents of the FCT, but as a senator representing them, what do we know now? How do you appraise this situation? How did things get this bad?
Good evening, Sean. From my assessment and the way I've seen it, it's been building up for a while. I remember a few months ago, I drew the attention of when the minister came for appropriation, I drew his attention to the fact that security is a priority. And I have been saying that for a long time. It started off with the people in Mpape being unable to sleep, KT all over the place. Some months back, the girl that was thrown out of a taxi from One Chance that eventually died. All these things I drew his attention to, but nothing was done until it got to the point where we are now. And I must commend the security agencies for doing something when we started to scream. But the truth is, a little bit earlier, I tried to draw their attention and I was told that it was exaggerated. And I said it couldn't be because what I'm telling them, I did not get from social media, I got from my constituents. But I'm glad that everybody, we are now all seem to be on the same page. We're trying to take it all seriously, but a lot more needs to be done. Catching the kidnappers is just the symptoms. We need to get to the root cause of what is causing all of this insecurity.
No, I mean, it bothers the mind, especially tonight, as the family of Nabiha and several people also who have lost people or who have their family members, brother, sister in the kidnappers' den, who thought they're living in perhaps the most fortified place in Nigeria, have had their family members abducted. Hearing now that this is in fact not a new scenario that is playing out in Abuja, in Maitama, in the city center, in Wuse area, in Utako area of Abuja. This has been happening for over 6 months, and people have been saying it. Now, it bothers the mind if the senator representing the FCT has raised this issue before and nothing was done and wasn't taken seriously, not until when things escalated. What does this mean anyways?
I even took it up at the highest echelon of government because I know that these things are really happening. I have lived in the FCT since 1988 and I can see how insecure it's become. But there are certain issues we need to address. Things like unemployment, empowerment, abandoned buildings all over the place, shanty towns coming up. And the solution to the shanty towns is not just demolishing them, because as soon as you demolish them, they crop up again somewhere else. We need, when we demolish them, to create some sort of viable alternative. Otherwise, the people must find somewhere to live, no matter how poor they are. They will make some other place a shanty town. Mpape, for months, they've been complaining about insecurity. Keti around Lugwe, all those places, and I can go on and on and on. But I must say, part of the problem we are having, there's a big disconnect between the minister of the FCT and the elected officials. And I'll be specific, the House of Rep member and myself. The truth of the matter is that the minister is new to the territory. We are the ones who have historical knowledge of the whole area. And it is imperative that we work together. if we don't work together, that's what is happening is exactly.
Well, Senator, apologies. Does the minister listen to you as a senator? The politically elected person to represent, does he listen to you?
I've never met the minister except when he came for appropriation. I have reached out to him several times. The minister, for some reason, thinks Senator Aduda is still the senator of the FCT. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So since I was prepared that when I go back this time, I'm going to bombard the minister with letters, since obviously just talking to him on the phone, sending messages, I have WhatsApp messages, everything I've sent to him, I've written him 1 or 2 letters, I don't get a response. And this is, FCT is not, I'm the highest elected official in the FCT, accountable to the people of FCT. And therefore, the person they bring their complaints to, and the person I have to convey, he is the Chief Security Officer of the Federal Territory. And therefore, the person in charge of security, and must account to the people and me as to why these things are not being resolved. I've also tried to sit with the security agency separately to ask what the issues are. Are they properly funded? They said yes, they are, and that they don't lack anything, but that the kidnappings are not true. But we are seeing, and I've said that they are true. And now that the whole territory is screaming insecurity, 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 they can see that I wasn't exaggerating and I was just not trying to harass them for no reason.
So it's not a case of that we do not know. It's a case that you are the warned, but nobody listened. You had hinted that this is happening, but authorities turned a blind eye to whatever was going on. That's sad, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. I don't know what the problem is. I think the minister of the FCT is coming from a different structure of a state where things are different. Other places, there are 3 senators and there is a governor. But here, it's not that way. There's no governor. I am the person that the people will come to with their complaints. Everybody has been at me at how I'm not doing anything about the insecurity, forgetting that it's the minister who will do something about the insecurity. And the minister, as far as he's concerned, there are no elected members in the FCT.
Well, I mean, it will be good because they trust the Nigerian people having elected officials in a political office holder is for them to be accountable to them. And when that trust is breached or broken, there is a sad, sad feeling in the minds of people. And this kind of disconnect does one thing, it breaks down the society. But let's look at it and let's hoping that we'll find a solution. And last thing one, with what is happening, what in your own view, Senator, do you think is the root cause? Suddenly, FCT has become insecure.
Well, I think we should tackle it from many, many angles. For one thing, I think there should be, and I believe that it was the military that chased the kidnappers to the point of getting hold of them and handing to the police. Now, the military's primary job is not really policing. It should be that of the police. I think that the borders coming into the FCT, FCT Nasarawa, FCT Kaduna, FCT Niger, we need to have better monitoring of those borders, because that's how come the miscreants and the terrorists and the bandits come from all those places, number one. Number two, we need also IDP camps that are located in the city center. IDP camps should be deliberate places built with perimeter fence and accesses. And therefore, we need to look at that as a major way, because I've been told that lots of times the miscreants, they run into the camps and it's difficult to follow because you know how the camps are. Secondly, there are so many with the poverty level, so many unemployed young people who will obviously fall prey to these, to being terrorists and bandits. So we need to look at empowerment programs for young people. We also need to look at shanty towns. You know them. They are scattered all over the FCT. Just demolishing them is not good enough. Then the other thing we need to look at, the police. A lot of, I would say without exaggerating, that maybe a quarter of the police force are guarding VIP, which is not their primary function. They are supposed to be enforcing law and order. So we need to look at how, I think there's a special protection unit. I've only occasionally seen some of them. And we also need to look at the agro rangers who are supposed to be there, but I've never seen any of them. They are part of the NSDC. So there are all these arms of the security agencies. We need to see how they can be optimized, because right now, a lot of police people are guarding VIPs. They're not unavailable for community work and policing the streets of Abuja. If in places like Dede, even Mararaba, all those, how many policemen are there?
Well, let's look at Senator. If you hear most of the cases of people that have experienced ritual-related kidnap in the city of Abuja, those who are returning from work or going to work in the morning, and these are a lot of the time within the city center, and these are done through transportation, public transportation within the city. That is also a major worry for a lot of people who are low-income earners and who think that their lives are under threat.
So for those, we need more community policing, and as I said, we need more security within, and not the usual checkpoints that they dismantle by 10 o'clock, the checkpoints are off. We need them within the community. We also need to have a mechanism where people can give information to the security agencies anonymously, because a lot of them know things but are afraid to come and tell you what's happening in their community. There has to be a way for that to happen. So those I do understand that the public transportation is, because we also don't have a proper transportation system, you cannot actually even police them the way they should. So we have to approach it from many, many prongs. So,
Senator, would you say that there is now a huge influx of, with the benefit of lack of better word, aliens who have invaded Abuja, or those people with suspicious character that have invaded Abuja?
Well, when you say aliens, you mean that they've come from other parts of Nigeria?
Because, one of the things that we heard is that some of the attackers in some part of those, the areas you said, the military have chased them and they are coming into Abuja. Some of them, some of those who have experienced these attacks will say, some of these guys don't look like they are Nigerians. They don't speak languages that are, that are known to the Nigerian territory. So, and that's why I'm using the word, or borrowed the word, aliens. And I'm saying maybe there's some suspicious characters, because some of those who have been kidnapped before had said, they've described how these kidnappers look. And ordinarily, when they get into the city, they should be suspected because of their looks and the manner in which they appear.
Well, you can't really stop people from coming in, but you can actually police the access places like the bus depots, the entrances into the city. Even I doubt very much that they use trains, but all the accesses can be better policed. And that also, we need ID cards of some kind. People need to be identified. And that's why, okay, people will say NIN has been infiltrated, but having a national identity card for all Nigerians that you can show who are you and where are you going to would also help. We've all been registering, but very few people actually have the identity cards. So these are some of the things that will assist us. And that's why I'm saying that we have to deal with the underlying causes as well as the symptoms.
So, but in this sense, I will imagine that you must have had it up to here with what is going on right now in the FCT. Are you provoked to the point that you get back to your colleagues in the Senate to say there must be some policies, there must be some motion, there must be some laws that will help to tackle this menace in the FCT? Are you thinking of proposing a bill or a motion to defend the people of the FCT whom you represent in the National Assembly?
Well, you know, we do have laws. The problem is implementing the laws. And I doubt very much that when you can barely get 20,000 naira from a bank, that you are able to give a bandit 10 million in cash. So how are they getting the money? There must be stricter financial controls. There must be stricter tracking of the money. So all of this still boils down to the security agencies. Yes. Also, when the Senate resumes, I plan that the FCT committee, specifically me, needs to sit with the two ministers and the security agencies for them to give us and tell me what is the plan for protecting my constituents. It's not just enough. Now they know that the threat is real. So what is the way forward?
So you're hoping that the minister should be summoned when you return to the Senate?
Yes, I know that. Oh, no, it's not I'm hoping. I know he will be summoned. Whether he responds or not is a different matter. But that he should, as the chief of security officer of FCT, he should have a plan. He should be able to tell us, the committee, and specifically me, this is the plan for protecting the people of the FCT. And between him, the police commissioner, the DSS, the head of the DSS, they must have a plan. DSS is for intelligence gathering. So they should know a lot more of what is going on, at least underground, if they're doing their job properly.
If you look at it,
these are some
so you
these are some of the things that I want them to tell us.
The indigenous people in Buhari, in Karo, in what do we tag the satellite communities of Abuja, the locals, the people, the indigenous people of the FCT, they will be worried by now because they are the ones bearing most of the brunt, because the escape of some of these kidnappers are through these communities. Some of those who are being kidnapped, majority of them are in this community, they are living in this community. Are you thinking of a multi-stakeholders involvement, the traditional rulers, the indigenous people of the FCT, and how do you hope to engage them?
Well, first of all, we need to have a separate town hall meeting from the one the minister had, but this one an interactive session. Number one. Number two, the truth is that because of the influx of people into Abuja, Abuja is the fastest growing city in Africa. So all these suburbs that you're talking about, the Gwagwalada, the Buhari, the Kuche, actually, they have more, if not as many, residents, the influx, they go to those places. So it's not just the indigenous people. It used to be, but now they're almost more aliens, as you would call them. I call them the residents of FCT, everybody. There are a lot of them in those places. They cannot afford to stay in the Maitamas and the Asokoro. So they stay in these satellite towns. So an interactive session. As soon as I return, we're going to have two sets of town hall meetings, one in Abuja South and the other one in Abuja North, interactively, because that's what I did when I first became a senator, is listen to people, the traditional rulers, everybody, to say, what are your problems? What do you want to see done this next 4 years? And the interactive session is where we're going to get to the root of what's going on in your
Senator,
community.
Yeah, beyond that is also that, I mean, since you're representing the FCT in the National Assembly, there are those who are worried that there was a very popular project in the FCT, the CCTV cameras.
Yes,
Nigeria spend millions of naira in in installing this CCTV. Part of it is supposed to be security. Part of it is supposed to be monitoring what goes on in the FCT. Would you, for example, be raising a motion for Nigerians to know the real cost of how these CCTV cameras disappeared, those who got the contracts, how the contracts become more or less an evasive contract, that we cannot see some to the point that the city has now become so insecure and now we're running helter-skelter. Are you thinking of raising this CCTV matter up when you return?
Yes, I am. I actually spoke several months back. I called for the contractors and they came to see me. They explained that the contract was 400 million from the Chinese government and 70 million from the Nigerian government. And they installed the CCTV cameras and they were working well. So I asked him what the problem was. He said the problem was that after they were installed, they need to be, the example he gave me is if I buy a car and they've done everything, they give me the car, they cannot be the one to be fueling the car and driving the car. You take it over. So when they handed it to us, we didn't have anybody to operate it. We didn't make any provisions for anything. That they operated it for a little bit and then they left it for us. But I also asked them the way forward. They explained to me also that the cameras that have been vandalized and damaged, they're actually the cheaper component of the whole thing, that the back end is the more expensive one, and that is still there. So I was hoping that when the minister comes, we would sit down and see how some sort of surveillance.
Senator, if I may ask, and I plead that if these guys are telling you these stories, can they allow the media to see the back end they are talking about? Can we see in evidence of some of these things they are talking about for the Nigerian people? Because if Nigeria spend, you talked about the figure, but I was asking, this is in dollars, not naira, for a lot of Nigerians who are watching.
It is in dollars.
400 million US dollars. And 400 million US dollars today will be about 40 billion naira, isn't it? I imagine, my mathematics is not very good, but then I imagine that when it comes to money, my hand calculates better.
Yes. No, when we come, I didn't ask to see it at the time because I probably thought, okay, some sort of a security equipment. But obviously, the stage we're in now, there needs to be more accountability on everybody's part. And as the senator representing this territory, I'm going to insist on it. The committee on FCT is going to insist on it. And we will demand to see some of the things they're talking about and to know just how much will get the streets.
Senator, perhaps my final question tonight on the state of things in the FCT will be the way and manner some governors have gone in securing their territory, using local policing and local initiatives. Perhaps some vigilante, coordinated vigilante and local policing method. Are you thinking in that direction?
Yes, I am. Just before I traveled last week, I checked. They had vigilante groups. In fact, they're really properly organized. And I think that the way to go is monitoring the communities by vigilante and local policing. I will have to see how that will work. Obviously, they'll have to work in tandem with the police and the other security agencies.
Senator Ireti Kingibe, we'll be hoping and looking forward to you helping us put shedding light on some of this CCTV, your relationship and that of the elected officers in the FCT with the minister of the FCT for the benefit of the people living and from the FCT. If the essence of putting people in political office is for the good of the people, then everyone needs to be accountable. We want to see that synergy, and we are hoping and looking forward to that. Senator, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sean, for having me on your program.
Ireti Kingibe, Senator representing the FCT. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. Well, this is my own one penny in this matter. In times of darkness, let us not succumb to fear, but rather unite in the pursuit of a safer, more secure Abuja, where our citizens can live without the looming specter of insecurity. Together we can forge a path towards a future where safety is not just a privilege, but a fundamental right for all. And this can only happen when those who are in office rise up to their duties and do the right thing.